So, in my series, I've covered most of the main steam engine characters episodes, and I've only covered one Diesel character, so why don't we cover another one? Also, if I get another comment covering Thomas, I swear to God, I will cover him eventually, but it's too much to handle right now. Since he's the main character, he's got a bunch of episodes, and that also means a bunch of horrible episodes, so it'll take longer to cover him. Plus, I just kinda want to cover more characters before we get to Thomas.
I love Thomas.
Anyways, on to the character I'll be covering in this video, Diesel.
I'm a truckload of sausages!
He's another one of my all-time favorites. He started out in the series as a sort of rival to Duck and was the first Diesel introduced. He was very sly and careful with his words. He was also very hot-headed and thought he was above the steam engines.
He is mistaken. We Diesels don't need to learn. We know everything. We come to a yard and improve it. We are revolutionary.
Duck wasn't very happy about Diesel's claims of being revolutionary and kinda left him on his own. As a result, Diesel was made into a laughingstock by the trucks because he attempted to pull them. Fun fact, anytime I watched this episode on DVD when I was younger, this would happen.
We can't. We won't.
I don't know what's happening. Diesel then blamed Duck for not helping him and spread rumors to the bigger engines that Duck had given them rude names. This led to the Fat Controller sending Duck away to Edward's branch. After Duck had his, troubles on Edward's branch line, he returned to the yards after Topham sent Diesel away since he never believed him in the first place. Despite being sent away, Diesel still made appearances occasionally. He's seen in the background at Tidmouth during the Christmas party, and he actually appeared before his debut episode in Percy Takes the Plunge, which aired before Pop Goes the Diesel. He's only shown for like 3 seconds when Percy's being lifted from the key, but yeah, that's kinda cool. He also made cameos in Gordon and the Famous Visitor and Thomas, Percy, and the Dragon. Afterwards, he made his actual reappearance in Season 3's Diesel Does It Again, where he's sent back to the railway to help Duck and Percy at the harbor. But since he's being a dick again, he's sent away. But he's for some reason back now in Tender Engines? What? Did Topham give him another chance despite both times he's been on the railway shit goes wrong? I guess so, because after this he just seems to be on the railway permanently. But at least he stayed in character for most of his episodes and had an interesting character pairing with Emily in Season 10's Emily and the Special Coaches. However, say it with me now, it wasn't until the CGI series when things noticeably started to change. His character kinda changed in this era. He's a very sympathetic villain in many of his appearances, like this clip from Misty Island Rescue and this clip from Diesel's Special Delivery.
I hope Sir Topham Hatt chooses me. Every day I make sure I'm a really useful engine.
What about me, Thomas? I'm a really useful engine, too.
No, Diesel. I'm sure Sir Topham Hatt means a really useful steamy. You'll never be that.
I have been clapped and cheered all morning. I have a very special.
I am never clapped and cheered.
That's because you are a Diesel.
He's shockingly nice in this era, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Hell, I think it's a decent idea myself. But the problem with this is that he always reverts back to being the bad guy. Take Season 19's Wild Water Rescue for an example, where Diesel plays a trick on Percy, causing him to land in a flooded section of track. After hearing this, he feels bad and goes to the quarry to help him. Well, he attempts to, at least. So the episode ends with Diesel learning his ways and becoming a nicer engine. That's pretty neat. You know what's not neat? In his next appearance, he's been reverted back to being a dick. Oh my god! In Season 21, Springtime for Diesel, he reveals he acts the way he does because he feels the other engines mistreat him. This episode ends on a hopeful note that Diesel has changed. What a nice episode. It's too bad they didn't keep this and just went back to him being devious. I'm not saying Diesel should be nice, period, but he should at least after this episode been a little nicer. And that's where Diesel Glows Away rolls in, which is in my opinion his worst episode. Why? Let's get into it. The episode starts with Diesel messing with Paxton and Nia, and Paxton says to Nia that he wonders if things would run better if Diesel wasn't there. Diesel isn't very happy about this, and complains about it on his way back to the Diesel Works. He rolls into this random shed, saying that the other engines won't get on with their work if he isn't helping them, which is kinda weird, because in the beginning of this episode, he's not really helping them. I don't know anymore. Diesel says that once the others realize how useful he's been, they'll all go and look for him. And then we get one of those stupid dream sequence things that this era puts into their episodes so that the kids' attention span of a radiator don't get bored and change the channel. This one showcases Norman, Paxton, Nia, and Stanley all crying about Diesel being missing, and
Sorry to interrupt, but what
What's that huge cake doing there?
Okay, that was kind of funny. Then Diesel pops out from the cake and everyone cheers for him. Oh my god, I'm so happy for Diesel right now. I could cry. Then the stupid brain rot sequence ends with Diesel thinking the engines are looking for him, but realizes it's only a crow. Womp womp. He goes back into the sheds, questioning why no one is looking for him. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're doing their jobs? And hits a can of paint, but this isn't any normal can of paint. Oh, no. It's the glow-in-the-dark paint from Henry in the Dark. That's a neat throwback. What's not neat is that despite this paint actually having a use with it being painted on signs, so when it's nighttime drivers can see them, Diesel just puts it on himself and acts like a ghost. Oh my god! Anyways, he rolls up to the Diesel shed and starts blabbering to Paxton, saying that it must be so hard doing his jobs, and tries to get Paxton to think about him in his dream. Next, he goes to Tidmouth's sheds and does the same thing to Nia, except this time Nia wakes up and points out that Diesel is glowing. And this part was admittedly funny.
You're glowing? What's going on?
It's a dream. It's just a dream.
Next day comes around and Paxton asks Nia if she's seen Diesel around. Nia says that last night he said he was hiding and told her to find him. They go and try to find him at the Diesel Works by going into that random shed, but all they can find is that leftover can of paint. It's actually told to us that Diesel is hiding in the Blue Mountain Quarry and is— wait a second! He's hiding in that shed. The shed Luke was hiding in back in Blue Mountain Mystery. Luke, you know, the narrow gauge engine? You know, narrow gauge? The gauge of track that is smaller than the standard gauge, which Diesel is? How can he fit there? It's already been shown what a standard gauge engine looks like on narrow gauge track. Oh, they just lazily resized the track and didn't even attempt to resize the shed. This still doesn't explain how he can fit through there. What is going on? Anyways, Nia and Paxton suddenly find a trail of glowing paint in a tunnel, but when they come out of it, they can't see it because, well, you know, you can't really see glow-in-the-dark stuff when it's daytime. So they wait until dark and ask Owen if he's seen a trail of paint. He spots the trail, and Nia and Paxton stop before the tunnel, and Nia suddenly gets an idea.
Why isn't anyone coming to find me?
I don't know, maybe because everyone's too busy working, you stupid thumbtack. Then both Paxton and Nia, who've acquired the glowing paint, act like Diesel from earlier and tell him to do his jobs. He panics and apologizes and says he'll do everyone's jobs as long as they leave him alone. The two engines leave and the next day comes. Diesel keeps mumbling to himself and Den asks Nia and Paxton what they said to Diesel to actually get him to do their jobs.
Very, very useful. Wait a minute. That was Nia and Paxton in a tunnel. They tricked me. And they think I give engines a bad name.
You really do, though. Also, can I just say how much I hate these stupid after segments that play after the episode? They literally tell you what just happened in the episode. There's no way Mattel thought that kids were this stupid. Oh my god. Despite this episode having, like, 2 decently funny moments, everything else is just really bad. This is probably the most childish episode I've looked at so far. And I had to sit through this.
Ice cream flew into the air and spattered all over the engines. Sorry, Rusty, but I must get the puppet show to the children.
And what also sucks is Diesel's character. Like I said in the intro, the writers revert Diesel back to being a bad guy to keep the status quo, but after Springtime for Diesel, it really felt like a good time to change Diesel's character. But almost none of his appearances after this do any of that. Diesel specifically in this episode feels like an attention-seeking child. He keeps saying shit like this.
Once they realize how useful I am, they'll all come looking for their own friend Diesel.
When in reality, he hasn't been doing any of his own work. This episode literally starts with him messing with the other engines and not doing his work. It's kind of strange to me how 2 of the most popular Diesels in this show turned into attention seekers. Any good things about this episode? Well, there's the little moments I already addressed that I thought were funny, and having Paxton in an episode is always good. But yeah, that's basically it for the good stuff. Everything else sucks. Overall, Diesel Glows Away is a really stupid episode, and Diesel's character was atrocious in it. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, consider subscribing. It helps out the channel a bunch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, but I'm not done with you yet. Hi-ya!
Full of surprises, just like he'll always be. He brings some razzle-dazzle to the yard. He's full of surprises, as you can plainly see. He don't find being surprising all that hard.